So now we start studying about FIR filters. Remember, I am also going to take an assessment from our last lecture, obviously, at the end of the class. So make sure that you inform everybody to be here, so nobody misses that. So there is going to be an assessment on the part which we covered last time. So FIR filters, as you know, these are the filters where you don't have the recursive part in it, so you implement them using a convolution summation. So we know this much, that y of n is equal to summation k goes from 0 to l minus 1 h of k x of n minus k. So once we say design means finding the h of n. Okay, this is an FIR filter which is finite in length, and we have covered the analysis in the analysis part, that once we are designing FIR filters, we try to design linear phase FIR filter, linear phase FIR filter. So we have gone through this, and linear phase would have 4 types: symmetric, anti-symmetric, and in symmetric again 2 types. One, M is odd, M is even, M is odd, M is even, M is odd. So but they are symmetric, usually they are symmetric filters, and today we will find out that how these filters are designed. So for finite impulse response systems, there is kind of no equivalent in analog, or using circuits. You cannot implement an FIR filter. Okay, circuits you cannot implement an FIR filter. So FIR filters are very special and specific to digital domains. So definitely then you need to have digital techniques only to design an FIR filter. So you don't find any analog design techniques for designing FIR filters. So the technique is very simple. The technique is you start with an ideal frequency response. This is an ideal response for low pass, for example, omega cutoff. If you want to see both sides and symmetric, and this is an ideal low pass filter. Okay, if you take its inverse Fourier transform, you get an expression sine omega c n over pi, and we know this from our chapter number 2, where we know that inverse Fourier transform of this is this. So this is an ideal FIR filter, but as we know, ideal is not possible, and it is very evident from this expression itself that ideal, because it requires you to have an impulse response that runs from minus infinity to infinity. It's a sink, going from minus infinity to infinity. Obviously it's a discrete sink. A discrete sink means that you have, these are the samples. This is what you get. Okay. So this is you don't have enough memory to store an infinite sink, and this is also not causal, and you got your FIR filter to be causal. So what you do is, first you delay this, and so that whatever you intend to keep, you delay it by those number of samples by alpha, and then you cut it. So you delay this thing, you have something like this, okay, and then you multiply it with a kind of a rectangular window, so that you have only this part of the part which you intend to keep. So you multiply it with a rectangular window. So you delay h of t. Once you delay, you have an hd of it. from an ideal, and then you multiply it with a W of n. So your filter design problem is very simple, that you have an ideal sink and you multiply it with a window, which is a rectangular window. So this gives you primarily an FIR filter, and we can also write it like this. This is a delayed version of an ideal sink, so that it is causal, and you take, and we have seen this, and this is the delay, and rest otherwise it is 0. So you have a causal, and once you look at this, and we have seen so many of these in your labs and other work, that you have basically truncated from both sides. It is symmetric and it is truncated. It is symmetric, it is symmetric, it is symmetric. So this is your filter, right? So we know this, but we need to understand the consequence of truncating a sink. What impact does it make to the ideal frequency response? Because once you truncate it, this will change. And how this will change? It basically governed by this expression. So the truncation mathematically means that you have h of n multiplied by hd of n into w of n. And if you look at this into frequency domain, and we know that multiplication in time is convolution in frequency. So in order to see the consequence of truncating a sink on both sides, it basically is this. So does W of n also scale it back from? No, not really. It does not scale back. It only has a length from 0. That tells us about that the relationship, that this is what will happen. So we need to know the Fourier transform of this is the ideal sink delayed. So delaying will not change the magnitude of the Fourier response, so it is still going to be same. But a window in time is going to be a sink in frequency. So this is going to be a sink. If I am plotting its magnitude will be like this. Okay. So this is your ideal h exponential j omega, ideal h exponential j omega, and this is your window exponential j omega. And now you convolve, and once you convolve these two together, remember you start from here, okay, and ideal. So you start seeing some ripples even once you start, and then you keep dragging, it comes here, and once it comes here, you see a transition, because there is a partial overlap of the main lobe with this, and then you keep dragging, then you again see a ripple. So once you do this, you find out almost the same, that the truncation would result into an ideal filter look like a real filter, where you will have a transition here. So almost the same thing you are going to see, that there is going to be this band and a transition band and passband ripples. Okay, so that we are very comfortable dealing with these things, that if it is 1 and this is delta of 1, this is delta of 2, this is omega of p, this is omega star. So I am very familiar with this type of a response, and so I'm comfortable that truncation means that my ideal frequency response will change into something like rippling here, which I'm fine with this, because I know ideal is not possible. So it means that once I give my specifications, of delta 1, delta 2, omega p, omega stop, my filter design toolbox will truncate this sink accordingly, and give it to me. And how many samples it is going to keep, it depends upon what value of omega 1, omega 2, omega p and omega s I give to the filter. If I start shrinking the transition band, it will give me a filter which has more in number of taps. Okay, so this all depends upon the specifications, and then stringent the specifications, more expensive will be the filter, as is the case in IR filter. So this is very simple, that you can design a filter by just having this, that you windowed it. Windowed it means that you just truncate the same, throw on the left side, throw on the right side, move it so that it primarily gives you a finite impulse response. Okay, finite impulse response. So this way of truncation is called applying a rectangular window. A rectangular window. Because you are just truncating. Truncating mathematically means you are multiplying with a window which is all ones and to finite. So it means that like I drew it here. So it means simply that you are multiplying a window which is all 1 from 0 to m minus 1, then it is 0 otherwise. So if you multiply these, you get a truncated FIR filter. It's so simple to design. So a truncated FIR filter, if I give you in the exam, all you have to do is just put the value of omega c, put n0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and obviously once you are delaying it, it is n minus nd, n minus nd. So, and this is the expression for an FIR filter. Okay, so you must have done with designing FIR filter, but as you know that people will always find newer ways of doing things with the sink, ideal sink. And what people thought about was, what if I just just abruptly truncate the sink? Why if I don't abruptly truncate the sink? Because abruptly truncating the sink has its own consequence, which I'll show you in a while. So there are people starting, the very first thought was, yes, I have this sink. Okay, I have this sink. One way is I just throw away, multiply this one, means I throw away this part, I throw away this part, so I am left with whatever part. So this is my filter, so I'm done. Then somebody thought, perhaps this abrupt truncation, we will shortly see that it has its consequence on the frequency response. Why not we slowly taper it down to 0, and the best way to taper it down to 0, multiply it with a rectangle, with a triangle. This. So if you multiply your sink with a triangle, then you are slowly tapering it down. Okay, so means that once you look at this, it won't be something like this, it will be something like this, because you are now slowly tapering it down to 0. So somebody thought, so this was bar-led, so his either is called the triangular window or bar-led window. And then there was somebody else who said, why not to, instead of triangle, put a raised cosine thing, something like this. He was hamming, and then Henning said, why not this? And then the people started coming up with all kinds and sorts of windows, and everyone was giving a window his own name. So in those days, signal processing, people were coming up with different ways of truncating windows. Let me show you why there are ripples on the top. So it is more obvious if I show you on my slides that why there are ripples on the top, and not only on the top, but the ripples So we understand this part, that h of n is omega. So we understand this part. This is an ideal thing. Okay, and you delay it, make it from going from 0 to m, and throw away rest of it. So this means you are multiplying it with a window which is a rectangular window. Okay, and this multiplication in time is convolution in frequency. So we understand this. And rectangular window, if this is the rectangular window, its Fourier transform is a sinc. This is a sinc, sine omega m plus 1 over 2 into sine omega over 2. This is a sinc. So it is the Fourier transform of a rectangular window, okay, is a sinc. And Fourier transform of a window in time is a sinc. So inverse. So a frequency may, okay, if there is a rectangular window, you have a sinc. If in a time you have a rectangular window, it's a sinc. So once you multiply them together, you get a filter which is a truncated sinc. But this is convolution. So to answer your question, if you now look at this, if you are convolving and you are moving, there are ripples here, and so ripples, so there are ripples here. Okay, so you see there are ripples here and ripples here, and once you find a shaded region, okay, so what is the common region is this part and the ripples, and the ripples will make these ripples here. Okay, so once you are moving this, as we do in convolution, multiply them together, and then you take the integrate them, so you're always going to see ripples, and even once you go past this, again you are going to see ripples and ripples and ripples. So that's the reason you see ripples on the top and ripples in the bottom, because of the convolution of a rectangle with the sinc will cause these ripples. So this is the rectangular window. And now interestingly, like if you have keeping only 11 coefficients of this sinc, so you will see a transition is fat and there are high ripples. As you start increasing, this is the trade-off, like you have now 41 samples in the sinc, and you see these going down and the transition going very sharp. So we know that if you spend more money, and means more multiplication in terms of convolution, you start getting closer to ideal. You say this is 161 coefficients, and you see very sharp transition, and this also almost going to zero, and this is something like this happens because of the abrupt truncation, that there is this is called Gibbs phenomena, that you see this, but it goes down to zero here, So spending more and more coefficient means you design a good filter. So the rectangular window would give you this, and then somebody said, why not to try a triangular window, which is a Bartlett. Bartlett said, this is the formula for a triangle, okay, smoothly truncated to zero. Sometimes no, let's have a Hanning and Hamming and Blackman and Tukey, and so all these people were coming up with crazier ways of truncating a sinc. It was just have a raised cosine, the same cosine and the same cosine almost. They're just changing the shape of the cosine and coming over with a window of their own name. So it was a good time in signal processing that you can just come up with a little expression like this, and forever your name will be there in the signal processing books with name of the window, Blackman, Hamming, Hanning, So this is a rectangular window. This is a Hamming window, a kind of a cosine. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to make the ripples, okay, these are the stop band ripples, to go down, because they are very high in a rectangular window. We'll shortly see that this is bringing them down. This is another Hanning and Hamming, and you see they're just trying to bring them down. So this is a good comparison, and that'll make you understand that what people were trying to do. because we don't want unwanted signal to get into our output. So once they use, instead of rectangular, somebody used this. Okay, this blue color shows the Fourier transform. Okay, so obviously it is at a lower side than the rectangular window. So means you suppress the unwanted frequency more. But perhaps they were not noticing what is happening in the transition. Okay, now the transition is getting flatter. You cannot just drop down. Unwanted signal will come here. So in engineering, everything is a trade-off. You gain something, but definitely you're going to lose something somewhere else. Okay, usually this is the case. So though they were gaining in the stop band region, but how they were leaving a bad response, making it look bad, worse effect in the transition band. So the trade-off was very simple, whether you want a sharp transition or you want better in stop band. So again you see this is the rectangular window, and they could actually make the unwanted frequency to go further down. This is the stop band, but how? Look at the transition. So they were compromising on the transition, so they were having bad transition. Same is the case with the Hamming window. So Hamming, same effect. Okay, so though they were experimenting, but figuring out, end of the day, this is the Blackman window. Blackman window further flattened the transition. Now the transition is not that sharp. It is, look at the blue color, but it basically gives you good stop band performance. So it's now up to the specification that and once I was working as an engineer designing these windows, I have to try all these to find out which fits best and give me the minimum number of coefficients and meet my specification. I was working in Scientific Atlanta on this Iridium system of satellite communication. I was designing their receiver, and I was a digital signal programmer, where we were receiving a signal and we got to truncate it because that we can only process finite amount of data. And I was using rectangular window, and then someone suggested that why not to use some other window, we may get better performance. And we actually did get better performance by truncating it using a Hanning or a Hamming window of data and then processing it. So I have actually used it, spent a lot of time in trying these different windows and seeing its effect in signal processing. So you have this Blackman window, and if you compare all of them together, okay, so you see this is the different types of windows you have, and everywhere you are compromising on the this is perhaps where we see all of them here. So you see, one is rectangular is this, triangular is this, and then you are fitting cosine so that you smoothly truncate a sinc. So this multiplied by a sinc. And if you look at this, rectangular have sharpest transition, but very high ripples. As you move from this to triangle, so triangle has these, but you flatten the your transition. And similarly, once you go to Hamming, you have more of this, then you have these ripples coming down. So this was a never-ending kind of a technique where people were coming up with newer window, and somebody named Kaiser put a stop to this stupidness, and he said, I can actually put any curve using Bessel function of second type. And he must again be a genius, or must be a good mathematician. He said, why people are getting crazier, coming up with a newer window every time, and this does not make sense. Why should not I have a way of basically figuring out the trade-off and come up with a curve? So it may be a rectangle, it may be a Hamming or Hanning, or anything in between. Infinite many ways of designing windows. And why should every time I design one, I name it differently? Why not I have just a function? It's a very complex function, okay? It's a Bessel function of second type, but it basically gives you a window of your choice through a value of beta. Okay, this is the beta. If you put beta is equal to 0, it is a rectangular window. Higher the value of beta, you basically are compromising. Higher the value, for example, beta 0 is rectangular, beta 3 is this, and higher value of beta, you are going further squeezing the sink. This is beta is equal to 6, and in frequency domain, you are basically fattening the transition and improving the performance in the stop band. Okay, so this is the compromise. So this brilliant, a genius guy could able to come up with a generic expression for a window, and he said, okay, no more Hanning, Blackman, just tell me what you want, I'll give you the best window. But then figuring out the value of M and beta was really a problem to be solved. That how you figure out what value of beta should suit a particular design. And this is the contribution of Kaiser, that he did several experimentation and came up with an expression. Okay, this has no mathematical background. He has come up with this expression based on the experimentation, that he said, okay, knowing your stop band and pass band ripple, take the smaller of the two and find out the attenuation. This is the attenuation. This is basically stop band attenuation kind of. Usually the pass band and stop band ripples are same. So you say, tell me how much you want to suppress your stop band. If you're not really concerned, I will suggest that you use a rectangular window, because rectangular window has best performance for the transition and bad in the stop band. If you're not concerned about this, so just close your eyes, use rectangular window. But if you are concerned about this, then I'm going to design a window for you. Okay, so he came up with this formula. Okay, and through a lot of experimentation, he came up with these constants. He said, if you're not concerned with attenuation, and if your attenuation is less than 21, beta 0 means use rectangular window. If your attenuation is this, then use this, and if your attenuation is this, use this. Okay, and then take the value of beta, put it here, and this I will design. You can use a MATLAB function. It's a modified Bessel function of second type, and it'll just design that curve for you. And then you have to find out the length, and he could actually come up with this empirical formula. We call these empirical because they don't have any mathematical rational. It is only through a lot of experimentation he came up with an empirical equation that works. Surprisingly, it works for all kinds of filter design. He said, find out your M. This is the attenuation. First find out the attenuation, put attenuation here. This is the transition. I'll tell you the length, and take this length and the beta, and you have the filter. Okay, so the Kaiser, so usually Kaiser is the best way. If you are going to use the windowing method, Kaiser method is the best to design a window. And this is how it works, that you have delta 1, delta 2 is 0.001, and omega p and omega stop is 0.4, sorry, this omega stop 0.6. So you find out delta omega, which is 0.2 pi. Attenuation, you find minus 20 log base 10 of delta. These are to be same in FIR filters. It is 60. If it is 60, if it is 60, it is here. So you use this formula to find out the value of beta. So you use that formula, find out the value of beta. It comes out to be 5.653. The length comes out to be, and so in the exams, I at least expect you to find for me the value of A, which is very simple. Find for me for value of delta omega, which again is very simple, and find out the value of beta, which is this. And obviously, I don't expect you to write this expression, but if you look at this, this is the sink function, a delayed sink, multiplied by this window. Okay, so a sink multiplied by the window gives you a filter. So this is the filter. This is the filter which you design using Kaiser window. So Kaiser is the best windowing method even once you are doing in MATLAB. Just let MATLAB let the Kaiser selects the best window for you. You don't experiment, and let the Kaiser selects the best window for you to design a filter. Okay, so now you can see that Kaiser, if you have, this is Kaiser, obviously this is Kaiser 0, this is Kaiser 2, this is Kaiser beta 5, so, and this is Kaiser beta 8. So 8, 5, 2 and 0. Okay, so as the value of beta increasing, you are getting inside there. So your sink is shrinking like this. But if you look at this in frequency domain, this is Kaiser 0, sharpest transition, but very high ripple. And as you are compromising here, so you are compromising on the transition, and then you are going down, down, down. This has, you know, this fattening the transition, and then reducing the stop band. So this is how the instead of just having these 4 possibilities, you have infinite many possibilities, and that precisely give you the window of your choice. So you prefer to use Kaiser windowing method of truncating the sink, having the best Kaiser window, and then you have the response, which you can see here is the comparison between rectangular, triangular, Hamming, and I have already shown you the Kaiser window method. So this is, you know, the windowing methods that so different windowing method to design a filter in MATLAB. So in MATLAB, if you go to MATLAB filter design toolbox, you see all these methods there in filter design toolbox, and now, you know, with this knowledge, you can find out the best way of designing a filter. That if you are using windowing method, there is a method amazingly, because my supervisor, I started working with Dr. McLaurin, and he has a Parks McLaurin. With his name, there is an algorithm which was his PhD thesis as well, and that is, interestingly, is the best way of designing an FIR filter. Maybe in the next class we will study it, but here I only want to show you that if you have like these are the toolboxes, signal processing and filter design toolbox. And in this filter design toolbox, once you go and see the windowing method, you find out it asks you that you say FIR, low pass, and then is the way that you can design this low pass filter is through this FIR. And you see here it says window method, and if you go to windowing method, then it'll ask you that which window you intend to use, and then these are the windows. You have Bartlett, Henning, Blackman, Harris, Bowman, Chebyshev, Flat Top, Gaussian, Hamming, Henning, Kaiser, Nutfeld, Persson. so many different types of windows people have come up with, and its default is Kaiser. So it says just use Kaiser. Okay, MATLAB says use Kaiser, but it's up to you. So people have been coming up with just a newer window in signal processing. So this brings me to give you an assessment. So let me give you an assessment, very simple assessment that I want you to solve in 5 minutes, maybe a little more. So the assessment is that you have an H of S, H of minus S. This is your find h of s. Okay, find h of s, and then using impulse invariance technique, find h of c. So remember that you have h of s, h of minus s, you have to take half of it, find out expression for h of s, and then convert it using impulse invariance technique into h of c and give the difference equation. So give the difference equation. So take 5 minutes, solve this, and send it to Dr. Ali on his email, or inbox me, whatever suits you.